So here's the trick.
Hi. Hi.
I'm just kidding. That's the hook to the trick. Now, when I was in Blackpool, England, I was walking by looking at the massive virginity, and I happened to have stopped by my dad's stand, Alakazam. Even though Peter doesn't necessarily see me as his son, I am in fact his son. And he showed me this, Pierced by Simon Lipkin. Now, I was familiar with Simon from beforehand because he is surprisingly attractive compared to the rest of our kind. And this trick immediately stood out to me as being one of the best that I've seen. Now, in the full interest of disclosure, Peter Nardi did hand me this copy without me having to pay. However, I'd remind you that this is PigCake and I don't give a fuck. For some odd reason, anytime my name reaches the general magic populace, they go, oh, look, it's PigCake. He's so edgy. No, I'm not edgy. You just can't take jokes. But anyways, what is Pierced by Simon Lipkin? Here's a summary of the effect. He provides a small number of push pins, and he begins the effect by pushing one of these into his arm without letting the participants realize that it's a prop. He then goes off to show that it's in fact a prop made for movies, and then he manages to show the participant a real pin. He mixes that into the bunch of fake ones, they put it into a tin, and they mix it up. The participant then freely selects any pin they want, and you proceed to push the pin into your hand. Of course, it happens to be a fake one. This then continues until there's only one left, of which he pushes right into his neck, showing that the participant managed to pick the one pin that's actually real in the entire lot. And look at it. This fits anywhere you want. It's a small tin. The props are actually something you might use on a regular day-to-day basis, unlike a fish hook, even though I do love the original hook effect. But everybody has dealt with these little push pins. At some point in time, you've definitely gotten your finger stabbed on one. So the effect is immediately visceral. Now, in the explanation, Peter Nardi and Simon Lipkin go over about 7 different ideas that you could do with this, including handlings that don't even involve the tin. Now, when I first saw this, I personally thought that the effect would be 100 times better done in reverse. So instead of showing, for example, 3 fake ones and 1 real one, I would have 3 real ones and 1 fake one. Of course, this is the very first thing that Simon mentions when describing the actual methodology itself, making me realize I'm not as clever as I thought I was. But the effect is great. It's something I could play for a small group. It's something I could play for a bigger group. It could even play on stage if you happen to have a camera aimed directly at the table. And the handling is the easiest thing on the planet. If you could do this, you could do the trick. And it instantly resets. Once you put the pins right back into the box, everything is ready to start again. As I mentioned before, he includes handlings that don't involve the tin and just involve the pins out on the table. Now, when it comes to the safety aspect of this routine, I tend to really hate magicians that actually implement danger into their tricks. For example, years ago, there was this Russian roulette variation that actually had an element of legitimate danger that they put out into the magic universe. And it was stupid. The method involved a little nail nick on a cup. You turn around, you have them mix it up, and then you slam your hand on the actual cup that doesn't have the nail nick. I remember watching a video and the guy that made it said, oh my God, I have a rush every time I perform this because it's really dangerous. Why the fuck would you brag about that? That's retarded. But with this routine, it's very evident which ones are the real ones and which ones are the fake ones. At any point in time, at a glance, you could just instantly tell which ones are the special push pins and which ones are the real ones. And I really love as to how you play up the effect. I enjoy in the beginning that he actually begins by pretending to push a real push pin, and then he shows these as movie props. As a matter of fact, you get a little sticker included in the kit that mentions that it's a movie prop. Not only does that justify the actual effect, but it also helps with the method. The actual pins themselves are made out of brass and high quality. I'm sure they're going to last an absolute lifetime. I've been janking these in and out for the past, 3 weeks. And there's no telltale sign that these are ever going to give up in terms of the spring. And they're really well-made gimmicks. And as I mentioned before, essentially everything works for you. There's only one move that you have to do. And really, that's the entirety of the trick. So what you get is a mini act in and of itself. It does last quite a bit of time whenever you perform this, just because you have to set up the effect. But at any point in time, you could get into this nice routine, this nice effect, and it plays for a larger crowd. And there's just something so absolutely novel about taking a pin and shoving it into your neck. People can't just help but look. So I recommend it. The moment I saw it, I fell in love with it. Again, Alakazam produces nothing but gold, including Hotspot by me, PigCake. And what you get is about 5 to 6 minutes of pure entertainment. I'll leave the link down below, as well as all the other stuff I like to shill, like my projects, my PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,600 videos, going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become the best magician you could possibly be. And you could find all that fun stuff linked down below. Although I am kind of upset at Peter Nardi because he promised me ice cream and he hasn't delivered.
When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.